So, seeing as how this is a new year and we just got an influx of new subscribers, I think it's time for a reintroduction of sorts. Hey there, my name is Bennett the Sage, and I make fart and wiener jokes about anime. Sure, I also try to make video essays about the anime industry, its history and culture, as well as important landmarks in the, for lack of a better term, anime canon, but I also like to take time and talk about little-known or oft-forgotten anime from decades past. Usually, though not always, in the context of, can you believe this crap?
It seems like your motivation has already gone and burst.
Hey! What's this bamboo shoot doing in my pants?
Around these parts, January is known as Mehuary, where we take a look at a bunch of blink and you'll miss it titles that have made up the bulk of anime releases for the last 30 years. And today will be no different with Princess Minerva. A 1995 OVA based off a JRPG of the same name for the PC Engine and Super Nintendo, Princess Minerva was animated by Group TAC, a studio founded by Osamu Tezuka's former employees in 1968. Their history of work ranges wildly in quality and genre, from huge blockbuster projects like Street Fighter II to Strangelove and Miami Guns.
My classmates told me that I've never been in love before.
After all, the whole entire world revolves below me!
Paycheck's a paycheck. While Group TAC went bankrupt and liquidated their assets shortly after the death of its head member, Atsumi Tashiro, in 2010, they had left behind a legacy of anime that make you say, hey, I haven't thought about that in years. But today, we're not talking about Flint the Time Detective or Those Who Hunt Elves, although one day we will. We're here to point and gawk at ADV's propensity to snap up comedic anime and repackage it for an American audience, with all the cringe and stupidity it often comes with.
Why, you little peeping Tom, you ought to know I don't show my bod for free. Now pay up.
So let's start off 2022 right, with Princess Minerva. So, off the bat, we're treated to an intentionally cheesy narration telling us that we're in for a bit of the old sword and sorcery.
In order to reach the realm of magic, a traveler must journey far through the Valley of Time.
Climb past the iron hills, wade through the swamp of sorrows, clear through the shuddering wood, and have a brief pit stop for sweet rolls at Whiterun.
There, the great and wise ruler Whistler the XII has begot a most singular heir to the throne. Her name is Princess Minerva.
By the by, if you're fretting that you won't be able to follow what's going on without having played the JRPG, worry no longer, as this is supposed to be a prequel, explaining how our titular princess here got her entourage of all-women warriors. As bare bones and hokey as this setup is, I do have to give a small bit of thanks that this was made when it was, because if this were made today, we'd have opened with a dweeb in a library or at home playing a video game, idly pondering how much better life would be if it were just like its escapist fantasy media. That's right, a fantasy-themed anime that isn't isekai. It can be done! I also have to give a small bit of thanks to ADV for knowing well enough to lean into the comedy, even if a lot of it does kind of fall flat.
An inquisitive young woman, Minerva has ripened into a luscious 17-year-old beauty. She is very popular, generous, and sweet, and oh, give me a flippin' break.
At the time, ADV were the only ones that could be counted on to handle comedy in anime, or at the least, be trusted to not completely mess it up. But after a while, their usual broad accent shtick started to wear thin.
How about you, young man?
Young man.
This spear's very firm, has a full 17-inch shaft.
Yo! I'm a woman! Don't try to lecture me about length!
While being broad and going for caricature does have its merits in place, it's here in Princess Minerva where we find the limits of its use. ADR director and writer Tristan McAvery allowed the dub cast to just kind of go apeshit with how these characters should sound like, and the results are a mixed grab bag of okay-sounding performances and pure cringe. Our villainess, for instance, sounds Transylvanian.
Arian Daria, from the formless silver liquid mercury. Arian Daria, let the silver shell be formed around me.
At least I think it's supposed to be Transylvanian. Our merchant slash S&M queen, why not? Well, she sounds like Janine Melnitz from Ghostbusters.
From magic protectors to fully loaded magic spells, we carry a full line.
Quit better jobs than this.
Even Tristan McAvery couldn't help himself and decided to bust out his Howard Cosell for the dub.
It's another outrageous challenger, folks, and amazingly enough, this one's a singing martial artist.
If you're under 30, you're probably asking, who the hell is Howard Cosell? And if you're over 30, you're probably asking, how the hell is this supposed to be Howard Cosell? I actually feel pretty bad about making fun of this performance because McAvery obviously felt very proud of it. Otherwise, why in the world would he give himself special mention in the credits? You see, he didn't just play a nondescript, nameless character, he channeled Howard Cosell. Dear God, this is embarrassing. ADV acting! An attempt was made. Speaking of, it would have been nice if the anime made an attempt to introduce our side characters in a cohesive, plot-relevant manner instead of just having them run into each other in an entirely unfunny cavalcade of hijinks. The first 10 minutes of this anime, this 45-minute anime, solely exists just to get the introductions out of the way and get all the characters into one scene, all the while having them ceaselessly scream exasperated nonsense. You gotta understand, this was made and brought to America during a time when everyone thought that the key to comedy was the volume knob. Not that I would know anything about that. Yakuma! Hey there, just popping in to say thank you for watching the video so far, and if you're liking what you're seeing, please drop a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe if you haven't. It really helps me and the channel to grow. And if you feel like you want to help support me more directly, I do have links to a store with shirts and posters for sale, as well as my Patreon with exclusive rewards. Thank you all so much, and please enjoy the rest of the episode. The point that we're supposed to get out of that shotgun blast of an introduction is that Minerva here is wanting to be a brave, adventurous heroine as she is bored and restless with the life of a princess, because, as we all know, when you're a princess, you're either waiting to be saved or constantly fighting to escape your gilded cage. Pick one or the other. And what better time to gather your wannabe adventurers / bodyguards than by sending an open invitation to the conveniently scheduled fighting tournament? Though, unbeknownst to Minerva, she has a sworn enemy that is dog-determined to extract her revenge, and getting a couple of her lackeys to infiltrate said conveniently scheduled fighting tournament to kidnap her is just exactly what trite fantasy plots are built for. And when paired up with the stilted performances and the ill-advised adapted writing...
Cutie Carmen, thanks for saving my butt! I'll kick that butt.
You can start to understand why anime comedies typically died here in America.
My name is Orlin Carey, former cleric.
Former?
I'm currently unemployed for personal reasons.
Oh, that's so cute. The anime's trying to have a story. Look at you trying to have character moments and interactions that help breathe life into your dead-on-its-axle story. You just want to pinch those chubby little cheeks.
You've got no ability to do anything. I've been told that by so many people, but the fact is that I'll only live once, right? So I choose to challenge and believe in myself.
Sweetheart, I know you're going for a moment, but I kind of find it hard to invest in your backstory when you're wearing a leather thong for pants. If you're wondering why Censor Kaiser here is taking up permanent residence on this lady's crotch, as well as about half a dozen other women, well, there you are. And here we finally are, getting to the meat of things with the fighting tournament. It's okay. Like, the animation is about on par with what was acceptable at the time, and I'm sure if you were familiar with the game, you would recognize a lot of the special attacks, but no one battle lasts long enough to get invested. It just sort of starts and then ends. Whoop-de-doo.
And now it's Chiloria Eurus, widely known as Lady Death.
Lady Death.
Well, wouldn't you look at that? Both of these were dubbed by ADV. Who'da thunk? Well, at least the lackluster, barely a blip on the radar fight scenes are watchable, unlike here when the anime decides to have Princess Minerva sing for no good reason. Now, as we all know, dubbed songs are the bane of all otaku's existence.
We want to hold the world the way you hold me. We want to embrace it and set it love free.
Tonight, isn't it sweet? There by the beach, a car, two lovers talking. It's true, I saw it too.
And because I'm a true and honest person, I won't be showing you Princess Minerva caterwauling her way through a transliterated song for very long.
You can do whatever you may want to. I will be your guide. Ow!
I said I was true and honest. I didn't say I wasn't a son of a bitch. Thankfully, the anime finally realizes that an actual plot has to happen as Minerva's flawless disguise fails, revealing her to everyone in the tournament, and it's immediately cancelled. However, if you may remember, there is still that Transylvanian sorceress who has a number of henchwomen trying to abduct the princess, but they mistake her personal attendant / whipping girl for her, and they make off for the hills, leaving Minerva to pull up her big girl panties and rally her newfound friends and save her, all the while having to pull a fast one on her father, the king.
Satisfactory.
Princess, come back quickly.
I have no earthly idea who this girl is. No, really, I've no clue. This is the first time we ever see her donning a Princess Minerva wig that just exists for some reason, and she is never seen or mentioned again. What?
K2 told us everything. What? Please, let us join your plan to rescue Blue Morris.
She really did a lot for us.
Thank you all! Somewhere this way!
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that half-elf pixie thing. Luckily for us, she doesn't have that many lines, though she manages to squeeze every drop of obnoxious she can.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
But she does factor into the finale as the entire party encounters Princess Minerva's attendant tied up to a rock on their not chocobos. Nokobos? Fokobos? Fokobos. Anyway, while the party dispatches the henchwomen, Princess Minerva tries to free her attendant.
Princess Blue Morris!
Oh, this is an illusion world created by the sorceress Dynastar.
Oh, is that what it is? I just thought that the animators had to cut some corners, so they ditched the background art so that way they didn't have to spend so much time animating or storyboarding. Shows how much I know. At this point, it really doesn't matter why the Transylvanian sorceress has this murder boner for Princess Minerva and her father, especially since there'd be no way for any of us here in America to play the JRPG, at least not until a few years ago when a fan-made English ROM was released, finally. And speaking of finales, this turd is about ready to drop. In comes the half-elf to make the save and give the princess the necessary spirit to rise up and cast her End This Anime Finally spell, and the day is saved. Princess Minerva is a textbook example of a meh-uary anime. It's not good, not by any stretch of the definition, and it's not terrible by any stretch of the definition either. It's one of those kinds of anime that has low aspirations and goals, and even then, it barely passes the bar of acceptability. In previous times, we would have been grateful to have even a scrap like this available to us since we were all starved for new anime, but the times have certainly changed, and they have not been kind to Princess Minerva. Unless you're a collector out to get each and every one of ADV's anime, I cannot imagine anyone here actually wanting to see this for themselves. It had its place, but the scene and everyone else has moved on. But while Princess Minerva is by all rights forgettable, the topic for our next episode is in danger of being forgotten too, unless we do something about it. It's an anime film that changed anime forever.
Tell me, Joe, oh please.
No. You'd never believe me.
I would.
And it's utter dog crap. So join us next time as we delve deep into the surprisingly influential Harmageddon. Till next time.